Hello, so this is a revision video for AP Chemistry 4.5, Stoichiometry. A balanced chemical equation shows the smallest whole number ratio of reacting species. The coefficients shown in a balanced equation refer to molar ratios. So for example, 2H2 plus O2 to form 2H2O actually tells us that the molar ratio is 2 moles of H2 to 1 mole of O2, forming 2 moles of H2O. This stoichiometric balance and molar ratio given by a balanced equation is incredibly useful and important when dealing with calculations and amounts of substance in chemistry. There are several key equations you need to know for dealing with amounts of substance. N equals m over mr, with n being number of moles, m being mass in grams, mr being molar mass, so mass in grams of 1 mole of the substance, n equals m times v, again n being moles, m being molarity, and v being volume. So molarity is the number of moles in 1 litre of solution, and volume is the volume of the solution in litres. And n equals PV over RT. This is for ideal gases, with n again being moles, P being pressure, V being volume, R being the universal gas constant, and T being temperature. And the number of particles, N, in a substance can be calculated by taking the moles of the substance times by Avogadro's constant. It is really important you can use and rearrange these equations as required. Exam tip here: when calculating or converting molar amounts, always make sure you check your units thoroughly and carefully. For example, volume with solution calculations must be in litres for molarity, and temperature for the ideal gas equation must be in Kelvin. The limiting reagent in a given reaction is the reactant that will determine how much product can be formed. In other words, there isn't enough of this reactant to react with all of the other reactants, which are in excess. A yield refers to how much of a product gets formed in a reaction. A theoretical yield is calculated from the moles of limiting reagent. It is the maximum theoretical amount of product can be formed based upon the amount of starting reactants, or limiting reagent. Remember, it is theoretical, and this amount is never actually obtained. The actual yield is the amount of product that you do obtain or isolate in a reaction. The percentage yield of a reaction compares the theoretical yield to the actual yield, so how much of your product you actually obtained compared to how much you could have obtained theoretically. It is calculated by taking the actual yield, dividing it by the theoretical yield, and timesing it by 100. Remember, at the same temperature and pressure, the volume ratios of gases are the same as molar ratios, so you can use them interchangeably. So for example, 2H2 gas plus O2 gas goes to form 2H2O liquid. Well, the 2 moles of H2 plus O2 could equally be expressed in volume, so 2 litres of H2 gas would react with 1 litre of oxygen gas, because the number of moles of gas in 1 litre of either gas will be the same. But remember, this is from an ideal gas assumption.